Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2020, and you can find this I Don't Have Anything Else to Say podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. I'm also streaming at twitch.tv/MarcusB814 every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when my computer isn't in nuclear form. You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern. That's NICKVERN. In this week's episode, we're going 100% into AIE Guild's Where to Start event with fellow AIE officer Fezgig. So welcome to the show. And what have you been up to, Fez?
Thanks, guys. In game, my game is Warcraft. So last week participated in a AIE WoW Guild event, the pet adoption event on Sunday. Cy and Gusty hosted it on the Horde side, and then I hosted on the Alliance side. The AIE does have an Alliance guild, if you're into that. Tons of pets went to good homes, and the event was such a success that Gusty is hosting a secret quest line tomorrow night, so Friday night. For those that want to tag along, it's a flash event, is what she's calling it. They're doing a Una Tuna for anyone who's missed the original event. It's a secret quest line, and so it begins in Antares, and summons will be available. I also, guys, there is a way to add corruptions back to your gear. So for those of you who were like me, that were just irritated by all the negative effects that corrupted gear caused, whether it was the eyeball or what have you, it was just so irritating to me. I cleansed it all. I went to Mother and said, hey, take it all off of me. Well, now I have the ability to put it back in the order that I want. And so I've been busy buying that and reapplying to my gear there, collecting WoW Battle Pets in Kultiris. And so I'm not really a completionist, guys, but I do like to do things in order. And so collecting pets, getting those done, gathered the mats to create Jeeves. So you engineers out there know that some of those mats are kind of hard to find, and finished that off on my Alliance character, and then finally killed N'Zoth, the Corruptor in LFR. I haven't done it yet in regular, but killed him on the Horde side because I have characters on both sides. On my Horde tune, the group that I was with, we were at 10 stacks of determination and still wiping. It's really not a hard fight, guys, if you learn the mechanics and follow them, but there were just so many people in that weren't following directions. But finally killed it. And then on the Alliance side, my character on Alliance side, we were able to get it down with 4 stacks of determination. So not saying Alliance is smarter than Horde, but might be saying that Alliance is smarter than Horde, at least in LFR when it comes out. So not trying to pick any fights, but
I think you are saying that. Nick, is that what you're hearing?
That's 100% what I heard.
I'm hearing he's saying Alliance side is the best side. That's just what I'm hearing here, because I always say the imp side is better than the pub side. So
that is definitely true.
So I got to ask. So I'm not a big WoW player, so I have to understand. You said you're buying up corruptions to reapply them. Can you explain what a corruption on your gear means?
Sure. So it's like an enhancement to your primary stat that you're looking for. So if you want to increase your whatever stat you're looking to increase, you can choose to apply it. It's like enchanting something. I'm not sure how to translate it into another game, but basically you're enchanting it to be stronger than its original stats were. So it sounds terrible, doesn't it? It sounds like, why would you want to put corruption on something that you're wearing?
No, I can understand. So it's basically it's an extra stat boost. It's making your gear better. So essentially you're modding your gear to be better.
Correct.
Yeah. But why did you say reapply? Did you take them off?
I did. And so in this expansion, the latest version, there is new gear that is dropping that comes corrupted, and so it's the corruption is a plus to your stats and to your damage, but it also causes strange things to happen around you that only you can see that are negative and can hurt you. So an example would be as I'm DPSing a boss, all of a sudden this eye pops out of nowhere and has an area effect that's slowly ticking away at my health. No one else can see that except for me. And so those are the negative side effects of having corrupted gear. The more corruption you have, the more secret little things come out of the dark and come to hurt you while you're running around. It doesn't have to be in boss fights. It can be anywhere. You could be fighting a frog in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden this eye pops out and starts killing you. And so if you're not paying attention and you're not listening, that watching your health go down, it can actually kill you if you have high enough corruption.
That's interesting. So how do the stacks come into play with that? If you have more stacks, is it like more likely that you have these corruption events, or are they?
Correct. Yeah, and
Okay.
different types of negative events, and it's what would be really interesting. And that's the thing is, no one else can see it happening to you. They just see your health dropping, and it's like, what the hell is going on with you? And then it's like, oh, I bet his corruption's super high, and that's what's killing him because there's no way that mob could be taking you down that fast.
Right. So, but I'd imagine the more corruption you have, the better stats boosts you have to that gear. So it's like a sort of a trade off.
It is a trade off, and you got to be careful. So if you have your corruption too high, and that special person in the dark grabs you, it can be instant death.
Huh.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
intense. That's like a
yeah.
high risk, high reward type of
It's like the game wasn't hard
setup.
enough; they had to make it harder, right?
Exactly. That's quite the
So
mechanic. That's interesting.
yeah, and for me, I don't know if I would actually use it. I don't know if that would be something that I would be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna wear that because I wouldn't be paying attention and I would totally quit and die.
Yeah, which is
I,
why I
I
which is why I took it off. I was getting tired of being in a raid, and trying to focus on the mechanics. We're learning new bosses, and then all of a sudden I have to move because this eye's popped out of nowhere trying to kill me.
sure. And then in the I'm gonna probably butcher the name. Nazoth is the boss.
Correct.
Okay, so 10 stacks of determination is, let's say, so when you're at 10 stacks it's easy mode. When you're at 1 stack it's like hard mode or nightmare mode or whatever mode. So the lower the number gets, the harder it gets.
Correct. So you start out
Okay,
with zero determination, first wipe determination number two. As long as you've battled the boss for a certain amount of time, you don't just get to sit there and wipe after 10 seconds and then get a stack of determination. So, yeah, so 10 stacks, and there were bones everywhere when I popped in. When I joined the raid, popped in, and there were bones everywhere, and it was like, okay. So I don't know what I'm in for here, but ultimately, I think enough people that were frustrated or didn't understand the boss fight ended up leaving, and I think we just got super lucky because when we finally did complete it, it was like complete silence. So I think everybody was pretty much stunned that we actually took the boss down.
sure. Well, the reason why I ask is because in SOTOR there's a boss called Dreadtooth, and he has essence,
Hmm.
and it's almost the same thing but completely opposite. So he's at the easiest when he's at 1 stack, and then if you get to his 10 stacks, that's the hardest one, where it's almost like a hard mode fight where you actually have to do his mechanics or you're gonna die.
Right.
So that's why. So it's funny to hear. It's it's just like what I'm used to. It's just a little bit different.
In reverse, basically.
Correct. Exactly. That's exactly right. Nick, what have you been up to this week?
So I came up with a little jingle: doctors and dentists and Doom. Oh my!
So you've been doing the triple D.
The triple, right? The triple, yes. I'll leave it at that. The I had a doctor's appointment. I went to the dentist and I played a bunch of Doom. Basically, I'm healthy. Don't got the Rona no more. And then went to the dentist. I have one cavity, but I kind of knew about that, which is not really my fault. I was eating hamburger, and you know how sometimes it can have like a bone in it. like a little chunk of bone in it, and like crappy hamburger
Yeah.
base. So,
Yeah.
well, I guess my super back tooth, the dentist was saying because my back gum line is really, really high, like on the very, very back portion of it, that can make your enamel like thin out over time. Something about like the gum supports the tooth more than like if it was the tooth was sticking out above the gum more. So it can make
Sure.
some mechanism makes your enamel thinner and it's prone to cracking. Well, sure enough, I did crack it and said, just kind of muscled through it. I'll be fine, whatever. And then later realized, like, hey, I have this black speck on my tooth and it's kind of sensitive to stuff. And then so when I went to the dentist, she was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely a cavity. And on the x ray, it's like got like a hairline crack in it right where the cavity is. So I cracked my tooth and gave myself a cavity, trying to tough it out. Anyways,
fantastic.
yeah, way to go. That's what I get for just toughing it out and not getting that addressed when it first happened. But anyways, other than that, I'm healthy. And I played a bunch of Doom 2016. I played like 2 sessions of like 3 hours at night and just crushed it and finished it, and it was pretty awesome. So
that
now
game is so intense, Nick.
Yes. So now I'm gonna go play Doom Eternal, which is even more intense. But honestly, I was gonna start that today, but I wanted to download the Season 4 update for Call of Duty, which was like 80 gigabytes for me anyway, which was completely preposterous, and I don't want to have to go download that on my PS4 now also. But it just blows my mind
just the update?
Yeah, just the well, they replace a lot of like files, so it's not like you're getting like it's not like the game is like 300 gigabytes. Like it's
Gotcha.
probably like 100 and change, but they're replacing a bunch of files. So you have to download all 84 and then like have it swap out basically when it installs.
So it
But
basically
it's still,
it ended at 50 gigs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So the update is 84 gigs, but after all the files get replaced and everything changes around, it adds 50 gigs to your hard drive, which is insanity.
That is
like
that's a preposterous amount of data.
I don't know why though. I understand the battle royale map is huge and there's a lot to do, but I don't understand why these updates are so big, because it doesn't to me now, and I'm not a programmer or anything like that, but I just don't get it. But at some point, when are people not going to be able to play this game anymore?
Yeah, because it's too big. Like if it gets to like 200 and change, at some point, like people only have 256 gigabyte hard drives on some of their computers. Well, not hard drives, but like solid state on a laptop or something. Or like I think some of the PlayStation models are only 250 something. So
well, even the 500 gig ones, you can play Call of Duty. You have to delete every other game you have because of Call of Duty.
Right.
I don't know.
That's insane.
I hope they fix it, because it seems to me like that's a lot of extra fluff going into it. Right. And this is it's all for the Season 4 Battle Pass.
Right.
So I don't know. It seems to me a little over the top.
Yeah, me too.
It's interesting that they ought to do like what's in the Happy Meal of one of these expansions and pull it apart and say, here's what this is. This is all your audio, and this is all your music, and this is all your video or your cutscenes and what have you, and say how much of it is just absolute fat that we don't need. Like you said, fluff. 84 gigs is insane to just leave 50 after it leaves. So it'd be interesting to pull it apart. Get your nerd on, right? Somebody pull apart one of these updates.
Oh, the other thing is, for me now, if like they're adding a whole new map or something, okay, I can understand that, because I'm gonna have to look and see what these the SOTOR updates are, or WoW's updates, because I can understand an expansion has to be pretty big, but I don't know if like the SOTOR expansion's 50 gigs.
No, they're definitely not. And so this one did indeed add a whole new map for multiplayer, but at the same time, every update for this thing is 30, 40 gigabytes, and it's staying like even one of the ones that was in the middle of Season 3 was I think it was 35 gigabytes, and like 20 gigabytes stayed on there. So it was 20 new gigabytes for a patch just to like tweak things, which is just insane to me that it needs that much data just to do that. It's not like I can get why this one's a little bit bigger. Like if this one was 30 gigabytes, I'd get it because it was adding a map or adding a game mode or something. But I don't know. It seems like a preposterous amount of data to me, for sure.
Okay, so the free version of just the free version of Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah.
Is 49.7 gigs.
Okay.
That's the base free to play.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 4's update is 34.7 when it ends.
Yep.
48.9 gigs on the Xbox One and 44.3 gigs on the PC.
Yeah.
So that could round that up to 100 gigs. Then throw in the regular multiplayer and the campaign.
Yep.
That's, I mean, that's, oh my God, that's
a lot of
gigabytes. Hold on. At the time of writing this is April 27th, 2020. So this is before
this patch.
Yep. It was 191 gigs.
That is insane. And this patch just added it's at like 250 almost.
That's crazy.
That's gonna fill people's hard drives.
So people are gonna stop playing it.
Yeah.
So here's a conspiracy theory maybe to start. It's they wanna take up all your hard disk space for their games so that you can't play any other games.
It's not a bad strategy, honestly.
It's well, I agree, but if they were in the business of selling external hard drives or something, I would say okay, for sure. But what they're going to do is, okay, so if a kid or myself, okay, I can update it and keep playing Call of Duty, or I can play the other games that I want to play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Uninstall Call of Duty. I've actually had somebody in AIE say that they're not going to download it because it's 200 gigs, and they're only going to play it 2 or 3 times, and they're not putting 200 gigs on their hard drive.
That's totally fair. Yeah.
And I can respect and understand that.
Yeah, definitely. It's bonkers. But it's a damn fun game, and I'm still hooked.
Well,
I didn't cut you off. What were you going to say, Marcus?
No. So what they did add, though, is 50 versus 50 team deathmatch.
That's pretty intense.
Instant respawns on the Warzone map. So, okay. So I'm kind of... I would rather have them done like a domination to keep people moving on the map, because in team deathmatch on the full Warzone map, 50 versus 50, I feel like people are just going to sit in a building with a sniper rifle and just
it can't be that whole. It can't be that whole map, because that even in Warzone, you never see anybody. 50 versus you're never going to see anybody. It's got to be an abbreviated portion of that map.
Maybe. Oh, maybe you are right.
Because that whole map, when in regular Warzone, you start with 150 people, and you still never see anybody, unless unless you're going towards the gunshots and stuff. But still, 50 versus 50 is intense. I think they'll expand the 50v50 to other game modes besides team deathmatch. They're probably just starting with that to see how a 50 versus 50 plays out and sort of iron out some bugs or whatever that crop up. But.
Sure. So then they released Blood Money Trio. So 3-man trios is up. It's the same thing as Plunder, only more emphasizes on killing than running around for cash, but same idea.
That's nice.
Well, but I feel like it's taking away from the Plunder style. I feel like if you want to kill somebody, kill them, but you still got to get the cash to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, a big portion of that is killing people. For those of you who don't know, the game mode we're talking about, there's regular Warzone where it's just the circle encroaches and you get two lives basically, and the last people that win, as the circle's closing, that last people alive as the circle's closing win. Where that's the regular sort of Warzone and Battle Royale style. Then this other game mode, Plunder, is it's unlimited respawns, but you have to go around and collect money or kill other players and steal their money in order to win, and you have to deposit the money at these certain locations to sort of put it in the bank, and the first team to get $1 million wins. But it's unlimited respawn, so it adds a different dynamic. You can get money in 2 ways, either by stealing money from other people who have collected it, or by going around the map and collecting it yourself.
Right. So
Marcus was saying that he'd prefer to sort of emphasize it more on going around and collecting it.
The Plunder. Okay, so Kat really likes Plunder. I like Plunder. I just don't like the instant respawn, like Battlefield. I love the Battlefield game and series, it takes too long to respawn.
Yeah.
If call me a millennial, call me impatient. You're right. Call of Duty, what it does, it's action packed, and as soon as you die, you respawn. You do not feel bad about dying in Call of Duty because of the instant respawn.
Right.
And when you put a map or a mode together where you're not getting instant respawn, I feel like, okay, I'm wasting 15 seconds to respawn just to die again. Let's go. Like, let's step it up.
You're right. I getcha.
Anyway, my rant over.
So, do you want to talk about this PlayStation 5 release / update?
Sure.
So we got two things today. There's a big PlayStation reveal event live stream, and I think more the reveal than the live stream was relevant, I should say. So we got to see what this thing actually looks like. And if you want to take a second, pause the podcast and go Google it. Okay, now that you're back, I would say that it looks like if somebody were to take Frieza from Dragon Ball Z and turn him into a gaming console, that's what it looks like. Or maybe if Frieza and Cell did the fusion dance, then that's what this game console looks like. At least when it's vertical.
So
it's all curvy. It's got like edges sticking out. It looks a little silly.
Yeah, it looks like, you know when you watched back in the day, or even still to this day, you look at all the car shows and they always have like the concept cars for like the year 2050 car
from like 1950. Like.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like this belongs in the Fallout universe, or like exactly what you're saying. Like someone would envision a console in 2020 looks like if you're in like 1970 or something, or 1950.
Okay, I'm going to totally steal somebody's tweet, but it looks like Eve from WALL-E.
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
that's perfect.
Here's my thing for the PlayStation. I think the console wars, I think they're both systems are doing something that the other ones aren't, right?
Yeah.
The Xbox is winning because Xbox 360 and Xbox One games will be 100% backwards compatible on day one launch.
Right.
Every single game that has ever come out for the Xbox 360 or Xbox One, backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Blows it out of the water. Right there, winning. 2, if you own a PC, you do not need to buy an Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Because all new Xbox games will be available on the Microsoft Store for PC players. That's a big win.
That's definitely a big win, yeah.
That's a really big win for me, because now I don't have to buy their new console, but I can play all their games.
So is this the death of their console?
I think part of it. I think this might be the last Microsoft Xbox, quote unquote Xbox. I think they're going to come out. The next one will be its own PC. I think this one is going to, by the end of the cycle of this console, I believe that the Xbox Series X will be a PC, but have games on it. And they're just going to integrate it through the Microsoft Store. It's going to be like Steam is the homepage when you turn it on, but it's also going to have a web browser. You're going to be able to do everything you can do on a PC on it. And I think the next one will be a straight up PC, but it'll still have an Xbox name.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because
eventually they'll just sort of fade into being the same thing.
Correct. Where the PlayStation now, for me, is a true console.
Yeah.
Sony has been buying all of these studios to keep exclusivity.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Exclusivity to some of these titles, which I think sucks because, it sucks for a consumer because I don't personally like the PlayStation controller.
Yep.
Even the new one still looks like a spaceship, and
I
don't like where the analog sticks are. And Nick has the Astro A40 controller.
Yep.
Where you can actually move the analog stick for a play and keep the PlayStation button maps.
Yep. That's much better.
Right. And it's much better. if that controller continues to work for the PlayStation 5, then it's okay. Then maybe it's worth purchasing. But I
Yeah,
can't
but
play.
that's only worth purchasing though if you already have that Astro controller, because that was like $200. You know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have it and you have a PlayStation 4, um, we'll see. I don't know. But then there's the rumor mill that Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and Final Fantasy VII Remake are coming to the PC.
So I can tell
It-
you about that actually. Oh, to the
Okay.
PC. Oh, I see. Sorry, I cut you off.
To the PC.
Yeah.
Now, if Sony does that and they start releasing their games on a PC, two things. I think I will be more apt to buy a PlayStation because I know that it's going to come to PC and I'll want to play the game to see the difference between the console versus the PC like later on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, them, in my opinion now, they're missing out on a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't understand about these exclusive games. And I'm sure these studios pay big money, or they pay big money for the exclusivity.
Yeah, the studios get paid a lot of big money to be a PlayStation exclusive. Otherwise, the studio's losing out. But yeah.
Right. But why, for me now, a studio, why not just like say, no, I don't want to be exclusive. I want it to go to all platforms. But because Sony owns those studios, they can be like, you're only going to be on PlayStation.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't like to be held hostage to buy something just to play a game. Like, I won't play it. As much as I want to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm not going to because it's not on my system.
Right.
And I think in 2020, all games should be able to be played. But did they say anything about the backwards compatibility of the PS5 in this stream, Nick? I didn't see it. I was driving.
No, I don't think they did. They highlighted a bunch of games that are coming out to it, but they did not really say anything about. I think it'll play PS4 games, but I don't think it'll play 3 or 2 or anything like that, like the Xbox. Which I think we got that info before, but
yeah. So it was like they were like a select few games are going to be able to be played. I think it's going to be their big titles like Spider-Man, God of War, Final Fantasy, whatever. They're probably Sony Studios ones.
They did, yeah. I can run you through the list of like notable things if you want.
Sure.
So, I'm just glancing at the GameSpot article that has the summary, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is getting a redo for the PS5, which whatever, that's fine.
But it's super popular, Nick. So that's the thing. The Grand Theft Auto Online is an MMO.
Right.
It's an open world MMO that is huge right now.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Online is big, so I can understand why they want to port that over.
Right. There's a new Spider-Man game, Spider-Man Miles Morales. And if you don't know who Miles Morales is, if you're not a comic book nerd like me and Marcus, he is one of the newer iterations of Spider-Man who takes over for Peter Parker once Peter retires. And I believe he's featured prominently in the Spider-Man movie, the animated one that just came out. I forgot what it's called. Oh, Into the Spider-Verse. I think that's Miles Morales is the main character. I could be wrong, but that's pretty exciting. It's basically a sequel to the Spider-Man PS4 title that came out a year or two ago. Gran Turismo 7, which is, it's
their flagship.
That's their
racing game.
Yep. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is a new Ratchet and Clank game. If you like those, it's like a action platformer. I like it that's a game that like I would buy on sale and play twice and then never play again, only because I played like the first few games a whole bunch as a kid. A bunch of games I had not ever heard of. Something called Project Athia from Square Enix and Luminous Productions. I don't really know anything about that. Stray, which is like a robot game, sort of post-apocalyptic. It's about like you play as a cat, I think. I'm not sure. Returnal, I hadn't heard of before. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. It's something in the Little Big Planet franchise, and I wasn't really interested in that. I'm gonna skip some of these. Full disclosure. Let's see. Oh, Demon Souls. Well, NBA 2K21 is an NBA game, whatever. Demon Souls is getting totally remade. It's not just a resolution increase. They're like revamping that whole game, which is pretty cool. To sort of almost like Activision did with Modern Warfare. They're redoing Demon Souls. to sort of give it a fresh look for the PlayStation 5. Then Resident Evil 8 Village, so it's a sequel to that Resident Evil 7, the first person shooter version, which is pretty interesting. And then Horizon Zero Dawn sequel called Horizon Forbidden West, which is interesting if you liked Horizon Zero Dawn. Those are sort of the cliff notes, but some notable like lack of games. You didn't see a God of War sequel announced that a lot of people were looking for, and people were hoping to see Grand Theft Auto 6 announced anyway, but it was not there.
I think it's too far away.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do believe taking the time to the timing is everything. One game I'm going to mention that they should have never mentioned.
Yeah.
They shouldn't even have teased was Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, because that was 2 years ago.
They
now.
showed right, exactly. They did it at the Bethesda event. I think it was E3. Yeah. And I called Nick right away because Nick loves Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
So and he was like, "Oh my God." And then it's been silent since. And then Bethesda said we're still years away from it.
Right.
And for me, they should have just said nothing about it.
Right.
And just let it be for a while and wait a year or two and then drop that trailer, because now people are like, where's this game?
It's probably going to come out like mid to like end of this console cycle, if I had to guess. They're probably waiting for these consoles to come out so they can actually like push these consoles to the limit, you know? And isn't NVIDIA coming out with like the 30 series of graphics cards fairly soon too?
I can't wait.
Yeah, like I'm sure they're waiting for this new bump in technology before they actually start getting into the, sinking their teeth into developing that game, because that's what they're going to want it to work properly on and like max out,
Yeah.
So I agree. Go ahead.
Sorry, Nick. Do you think console gamers are going to be angsty about the screen size if it moves to PC? I think people are used to looking at a 60-inch TV when they're playing some of these console games. Moving down to a 27-inch screen monitor, do you see that there might be I just lost like all of this awesomeness on this big screen TV?
Well, personally, because I'm one of those people where I moved from PlayStation 4 primarily to PC primarily now when I got a new laptop. And because I'm sitting so much closer to my PC monitor, it's not a big deal. Or at least for me, like I'd be sitting 8-10 feet away on the couch playing the PlayStation. So the relative size in my field of vision of that 60-inch TV versus, I think I literally have that dimensions. In the basement, it's a 60-inch TV, and then I have a 27-inch monitor. So for me, it wasn't a big difference because I'm sitting so much closer at the PC on a PC. Now, if you were playing on a PlayStation and you're sitting way closer than that, than a normal distance, you're just like a chair in front of the TV, then yeah, I can see that's a definite change. But at a certain time, like I feel like you kind of want most of that screen to be in your. I feel like you don't want the screen in a video game to take up your whole field of vision, because then you won't be able to notice the details as much in your peripheral vision.
Yeah.
I don't think they will ever be. I think where they're going is I think it's going to be a living room computer. I think they're slowly but surely they're figuring out if you want to sit at a desk, you can and hook it up to a monitor, or you can hook your Xbox Series X, which is a PC, to the TV and lean back. Have a wireless keyboard if you want. Both systems now will be integrated with allowing a keyboard and mouse, which is big. So I don't know if it's going to change necessarily from the couch play to desk play. I think it's going to be up to the user or the player to decide that.
What do you think, Fez?
Well, I'm thinking social distancing is causing us not to sit with our buddies on the couch, right? So chances are we're all headed to solo play. So, but yeah, no, I was just curious.
I guess this brings up a valid question. When was the last time before pre-COVID that you sat next to your friends on the couch and played a video game with them?
It's been a very long time, because not a lot of games even have co-op modes where you can do that.
Yeah,
a lot. Even the co-op modes that they do have, they're online co-op. So it's like, That's a big gripe that I've had for a long time. I used to love doing that. What do you think, Fez?
I think like kids with the Switch is the latest console. I think that we've been sitting around a living room watching them play, but not like you said. It's not co-op. Usually, you're sitting there watching somebody else, play, and you're just kind of watching along. So
Yeah, it's the last time I played with somebody, I think I was playing with Nick and Ari, and we were playing Castle Crashers.
Oh, you're right.
I think,
yeah.
and we were all sitting side by side playing 3 people, and we had a goddamn blast.
That was awesome.
That's an awesome game. Yeah.
I love that game. Every time I go to PAX East, whenever I go, I buy one of the Castle Crasher stuffed animals and give it to the kids, just because I love that game so much, and I don't care how old it is. I'll still buy their $10 stuffed animal just because to support them.
Yeah, that's an awesome game. I like I think you're right, Fez. It's a good point. I forgot about all the Switch games. There's a lot that do that. Like I've definitely played quite a bit of Overcooked 2 with my friends, especially while inebriated trying to get dishes out. It's really funny. And arguing with each other. No, you burnt the rice. No, you burnt the rice. I set it on the table. There wasn't a plate there. Who's washing dishes? It turns into chaos. That's awesome. But so anyways, Marcus, we haven't even talked about what you've been doing. What have you been up to this week?
PC issues. Lots and lots of PC issues.
So let's hear about them.
All right. So the last episode, I think my computer was broke, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I was having problems with the motherboard and the power supply. Frame rates were terrible. I had no idea what was going on. So I changed the motherboard, changed the power supply, got 2 brand new Crispies, right? So I got the Gigabyte Aurora's Z390 Master, whatever the best motherboard you could buy, I bought. And I'm like, because I'm not dealing with this shit ever again, or for this computer's lifespan.
Right.
And I bought a 1200 watt power supply, which again, overkill, but that's kind of what I do. So I did it all. I hooked it up, started playing games. I played one night, and I mean, so I was streaming, and everybody's like, man, even SOTOR, which is a 10-year-old game or almost, or 9-year-old game, was like, they're like, you're getting a little bit of frame rate drops. I'm like, what? All right. I started Googling it. So what's happening is my monitors are in 4K. So my computer is rendering my game that I see in 4K, where Streamlabs OBS is streaming the game in 1080p or 720p, whatever it is. And now my computer is a beast. There's no lack of power in my computer, right, Nick?
Right. Yeah, you've had
None.
a Titan V, so you've got plenty of power there.
Right. Well, all of it. I have 32 gigs of RAM. Like everything about my computer, there's plenty of. The problem I'm running into now is I thought it was my computer rendering in 4K. So this whole week I was like, I need to either build a streaming or last week I need to build a streaming PC or buy 2 1080p 144 hertz monitors. So I said, okay. And then the next day I streamed, because I stream consecutive days. Well, I download MSI Afterburner, which is like a system checker.
Yeah, it shows you the performance of all your different parts.
Yeah, diagnostics program.
Yep.
Well, my CPU was at 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's that same temperature water boils at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm creating steam. So I open up, I shut down the computer, shut off the stream, and I open up my computer, and no steam or anything's coming. So I start poking around, and I'm like, okay, but the water cooler, I have the H100i Corsair water cooler, water block, whatever water cooler thing, and it's all lit up. I'm like, okay, so that's working. Everything seems to be fine. Okay, that's good. Let's move on. Well, come to find out, so I start Googling it, and they said your pump is probably bad. Change your fan. So I found the stock i7 8700K stock fan that it came with, just to see if like it would drop in temperature. It didn't. So then I ran some more diagnostic tests to find out that my CPU was running at like 40%, which means I cooked it. Now the PC's dead again. So this past week, I ordered a new processor, and it said it would be there in 2 days. I ordered the i9 9900K processor because right now I have a single PC, and I don't really want to have to build a streaming PC right now. Like if my stream channel grows a lot and like I'm doing it and it's really starting to hinder the quality of the stream, and then I'll build a second PC, right? But for right now, I'm like, there's no reason why my computer can't do it. And I know other people who stream who have a less of a computer than me and their stream's fine.
Right.
So it brings me back to the 4K monitors. So I clearly have to invest in two 1080p monitors because then it's going to take half of the processing power to render on my end, which will free up more space on the other end.
Right. Then you can stream in 1080 if you want to and all that fun stuff.
So I was so excited because I was going to do that, but the CPU burnt.
Right.
So I ordered this thing. It said it would be here in 2 days, and then I got a delivery update that said it wouldn't be here until June 23rd. And I said, oh, shit. So everywhere I'm looking for this thing, they're all delayed shipping. I think Newegg said 3 to 5 days.
Yeah.
Other than that, and I'm like, I can't wait another 5 days. Like, I don't nobody's really doing much right now anyway, but I don't do a lot except play on my computer. So after work and after the kids go to bed. So I was in Rhode Island. I'm in Rhode Island right now. And I was like, you know what? There's a Micro Center in Cambridge, which I've never been to. I Googled it to see if the store was open for COVID. And it was. So I looked online to see if the processor was in stock. Well, if you know anything about a Micro Center, it is heaven for nerds.
Really?
Okay.
Is that like Fry's?
Better.
If you remember, okay.
It has every video card you can imagine in stock. It has every processor you could imagine in stock. Hard drives, name it, they've got it. Motherboards, aisles of motherboards. Aisles, okay? Oh, PC cases, a room dedicated just to PC cases.
Wait, where? Like, what company is this for? Best Buy?
It's Micro Center. Google it.
Oh,
Google it right now, Nick.
Please,
Nick.
hold.
Yes. So I walk in there. Now, I got a tight schedule because we're recording tonight, and I walk in, and what do you think happened? I'm like,
you fell in love with everything.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Shit. No wonder you bought an i9.
Well, no, I was buying the i9 anyways because I don't want two PCs.
Right.
So I'm going to get eight real cores and 8 mirror cores. So I'm going to essentially have 16 cores to process anything that I need to process. And everything that I've been reading says it kicks ass. I am not an AMD guy.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody says to me about the new Ryzen 7s and how they're 12 cores and they're unbelievable and they're hyper threading and they're the new shit on the block. Yes, today they're going to work, but in 2 years they're going to die. It's AMD. They use cheaper stuff. I'm an Intel guy and an NVIDIA guy. I won't make that mistake again. And if you have a Ryzen computer, I'm happy for you. My laptop has a Ryzen 7 in it. But my laptops I look as throwaways. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't buy a 2080 laptop because I'm going to destroy it from work and dust and everything else. So I don't anyway. But so I walk in there and then so I purposely have headphones in and listening to a book because I can't get talked to by a salesman because I'll get into a conversation. Okay.
And you'll get roped into buying something substantial. I'm the same
I
way.
almost okay. So they just released the 10 series Intel processors. So they have the i9, 10 series, i7, and i5, and they are legit. The problem being is if I buy one of those, the motherboard has to be switched again because it won't fit the new generation. So I talked to a guy for about an hour discussing these two processors, and we were going through everything. Like, this guy, Adam, was awesome. I wish I knew his last name and I would call him out and tell you to say that we said he's awesome. Anyway, after talking to him, we both decided that, like, just buy the i9 of the 9th gen because that's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't need to upgrade to the i9 10th gen, which it would have been awesome, but it would have been like, I don't know, I would have spent like $800 to do it.
Right.
And I just was like, but there was a Titan RTX sitting on the shelf, and I was like, I gotta walk away. I gotta walk away.
How much are those?
But
Like 2Gs?
2,500.
Yeah.
I wanted it, but the 30 series is coming, so I think when the 30 series comes out, I will buy the 30 series
The 3080
Titan.
Ti. Oh, okay.
No, I'll buy the 30 series Titan.
Yeah.
And then I'll take the Titan that I have and put that in the streaming PC, and then I'm done.
Oh, that makes sense.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, so I did buy some RGB lights. I bought the i9. I'm just hoping that when I take it apart, the motherboard isn't fried.
Right.
From cooking the CPU.
Right.
Anyway, so I've rambled on for a while about my PC issues, so I will move forward. Death Star Troopers is continuing to work on hard mode Revan.
Mm-hmm.
We're consistently getting to the 3rd floor. We're getting through the first round of aberrations. We got the molten core to drop down to the ground to kill it a couple times. We're almost there. Like, it's so close we can taste it. I think maybe a couple more weeks, maybe this week. I'm not sure. A couple more weeks and we're going to get the clear. Damage control, my Saturday night team, we're still working on Isaacs. We actually made it to the 3rd phase of the Isaacs fight, which is good progression. We just lost a healer. They left the team, so I think we're looking for a healer, or maybe we're looking for a DPS. I'm not sure. Streaming obviously hasn't happened. I'm sorry to everybody. It's super frustrating. I'm sad about it, but I promise I'm coming back. I am coming back. In SOTOR news, there's
no news.
Well, they're doing their bug reports. There is no news. I'm trying really hard. Okay. I understand that COVID-19 happened, right? But I don't understand how all these other games out there that can put out content continuously and SOTOR doesn't. For the biggest IP in the world, in my opinion, the only thing bigger than Star Wars right now is maybe Marvel, the NFL, the NBA.
Yeah.
Not the NHL and not Major League Baseball, right?
Right.
Really, truly, Star Wars is everything. And they put out zero fucking content. And I understand you have a small development team, but honestly, like, my mind thinks about this, like, maybe I'll stop playing SOTOR. Maybe I stop. And maybe I go play World of Warcraft, or maybe I go on the Alliance side, of course, and maybe go play Elder Scrolls Online, where there's constant content coming out. I tried Final Fantasy XIV. I can't get through the base game. World of Warcraft is actually appealing to me right now because they're in their next expansion. They are dropping the level cap from 120 to 50. And for me, if I can go grind out 50 levels and then be able to raid, that's all I really care about. I don't care about much else in the game. I just want to raid. And every 3 months, World of Warcraft comes out with a raid. Right, Fez?
Yep, pretty much.
So that's impressive.
I'm not saying that I'm working on the newest content in the game. I guess the content shortage is so shitty. And I understand COVID happened, but there's nothing like in the horizon. They're doing a new swoop bike event. I'm excited for that for the guild, because the guild is going to have a lot of fun with running that event. But at the same time, that's it. There's nothing really else to look forward to. And their stories are so voice acted, are so driven, that they can't record the voice actors they need because of COVID-19.
Right.
So, like, the future looks grim. And am I being selfish by saying this? I think this is why I found my newfound love to Call of Duty again. Because it's constant and it's exciting, and I don't feel like it's stagnant. I mean, yes, our mandatory fun nights and the megas are awesome, and I'm raiding a couple nights a week, which is awesome, but that's pretty much it. That's about the fun in the game. And some people can say, oh, you didn't finish all your class stories. I'm not a big story guy. Like, if I'm going to play a story, I'm going to sit on the couch, I'm going to lean back in a chair with a controller in my hand, and I'm going to jam a story game out.
Right.
Sitting in front of a computer, leaned over, hunched back, doing story stuff. And I guess I should rephrase, questing isn't for me.
Yeah.
I don't like fetch quests. Oh, go to this building and collect 3 of these gold circles.
Well, I don't
And
mind
then
that if it's more interesting along the way and stuff,
but it's not. You're just scrolling around a planet. It's a quest.
Yeah.
I just so for me, it's I'm torn on the whole SOTOR thing, and I know lack of no news is better than the news that they will, like, it could be better than the news they actually tell us. And I'm being harsh in these times because, that people are working from home. But listen, if I'm working from home and I build cabinets and I build a shitty cabinet, you're not going to pay me for the cabinet.
Right.
Right? All these developers are sitting at their house doing something. Do your job.
Right.
Hey, Blizzard's still coming out with content, right? They're all working from home. I mean, I just don't get it. So to top that off, this is for you, Kogus. The ranked PvP rewards came out for season 12. And if you look in the show notes, it's this, like, the top thing, this mount you get, it's some kind of animal. It's not flashy. I mean, it's cool. Like, you can only get it if you, like, qualify for it. I mean, it's a cool mount. Great. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
In past, like, a mount like that would be on fire. Now that's legit. They had a Rancor that was on fire. That was the season whatever rewards.
Or how about make the saddle gold or something?
Yeah, like that just looks like a generic mount to me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, and you're only going to see a couple of them because you'll be like, damn, what car is that? You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not flashy. Some people can say I don't need flashy. Sure, whatever. The other thing, and this is where the PvP community is going bananas, as far as I understand, is so what they've been doing these last seasons. So a couple seasons ago, they said, okay, at the end of the season, if you have enough tokens, we're going to release season 1 rewards. So you can buy those again. And then the next year will be season 2. Well, this year is the season 3 rewards. And according to the community, the season 3 rewards were the best rewards. And they're not releasing the season 3 stuff. So is that because of COVID-19 and they can't unlock it in the game again without breaking something? I mean, again, I'm bringing this back to their computers. Are they giving them Apple IIe's from 1986 to use?
Right.
Like, what computers are they working on to be able to, update the game? My frustration level is high because I guess I don't understand doing a bad job because I'm not allowed to do a bad job.
Right.
And if you're in your house on your computer, you can still do your job. It's on a computer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you may not have all the frills of the supercomputer at the office, but I'm sure you can still do stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, we've talked to developers on the show that say, like, the stuff at the office is pretty similar to what they have at home anyway. So
the way I understood it is they're pretty much taking their work PCs home.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess I'm just torn on it. And for me now, if they if they have to release a story content update with no voice acting because they need to put out content and then later record it and then re-release it with the voice acted, so be it.
Yeah, I think people would be pretty receptive to that.
Yeah. So go ahead, Fez.
I was just going to say the voice acting thing that I kind of scratching my head at that. I see. I've never been a voice actor, and so forgive me if I don't know the setup. But aren't voice actors in a room isolated away from the guys flipping the switches, recording? Uh, Isn't there already social distance? Why aren't voice actors able to record in studio if they're isolated away in another room? And maybe I'm just ignorant to the fact of how it happens, but why isn't voice acting still something that's possible? Not necessarily from home. I think the rigs and the gear that they use probably is studio quality, but why can't they? Are they just not being allowed to?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like, I work in a hospital. I know all of the protocols on how you're supposed to isolate. Even if somebody has COVID, like, you can definitely keep everybody separated. Just have the voice actor walk in ahead of everyone and with a mask on or something, so they're in the booth, and then everyone else can walk in afterwards. So no one has to occupy the same airspace at the same time.
And then clean it and then hose it down after they leave and bring the
Exactly.
next voice actor. So I guess on a movie voice acting, sometimes they have two actors in the same room together, kind of playing off of each other a little bit, maybe for timing and for effect. But I don't think that's the case in games. I'm just kind of scratching my head a little bit there, and totally get in a lot of the and we're getting off topic maybe a little bit, but so stop me if you need me to.
No. There is no rules. There is no time limit
But
to a great discussion.
they're canceling TV shows. I get it. People can't be on studio together, but I'm wondering if the new normal is going to be more anime, more cartoons, more, and I was thinking more video game production because it is something that can be done in isolation, that voice acting. So I'll be curious to see what the next year maybe brings us in content, not just in game, but also in entertainment, home entertainment. Do we start to see more, video, productions like cartoons, what have you? But anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of scratching my head about the voice acting thing. And if you're a voice actor and you're listening to this episode, tell us why. maybe it's your union that you're part of a union that won't let you because
Right.
you're all standing together. I don't know, but
I can answer some of this. So a few things that were said. First reason is most voice actors record or actresses record in California. Right now, California has the most ridiculous laws right now for COVID.
Yeah.
They're on a, California is a much bigger scale than Massachusetts. Like where we live in Western Massachusetts, we're being held hostage to Boston's issues.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Just like upstate New York is being held, they're in the boonies and they're being held hostage to the New York City thing.
Right.
Like the New York City exposure.
Meaning
when you're in
like the rules are strict for the metropolitan areas.
Cities.
Yeah.
Correct.
But they also end up applying to areas of the state where
it's statewide.
Yeah. Where you don't have like really high COVID numbers. So you really don't, you may not need all those restrictions realistically in the rural sections, but they're more relevant in the city areas is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Right. In the city, you're living in an apartment in a 12-story apartment building and everybody's sharing the same ventilation system. Of course, there's a higher risk that you're going to get sick than somebody like me and you that live 7 minutes apart from each other and everybody has a half-acre lot of land.
Right. Yeah.
At a minimum. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's a big difference there. So the way I understand this with the voice actors now and actresses is they go to LA or wherever to record. Some have recording software at their house, but a lot of them don't because they all live in LA and they drive to the studio, they record and they leave. We've had Holly Fields on here and she's explained that, she goes to a studio and does her thing and then goes home. I mean, honestly, I was naive before she came on the show. I thought she was going to have perfect studio quality mic for when she recorded. Cause in my mind, I'm thinking, if you're a voice actress, you're recording at home.
Right.
Why leave?
Right.
Yeah. But that's not the case. And I learned that so people aren't working because of the restrictions for COVID. I do agree that as things open up, I can't imagine that they're not going to start doing stuff. I think they said movie productions start next week again.
Yep.
And I think Elon Musk said it. Make them sign a waiver. Says, look, I'm not afraid of COVID. If I get it, I get it. I'll be okay, or I won't. But like, I'm going to continue my life without a mask. If I get it, great. Okay, move on. If I die, it's my own risk. That's what I think the actors and actresses are going to do. They're just going to have to sign waivers that if they get COVID, they can't, blame somebody else.
Right. Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable.
I think it's fair. So in guild news, stay tuned for the second half of the show. Fezgig and I have some big news.
Definitely.
But if all this sounds fun to you, go to AIE-guild.org, get our disco info, ask for a guild invite, whether you play SOTOR, World of Warcraft, Alliance side, or any of the other games we play. We'd love to have you. And please be ready for June 26th, 27th, and 28th.
We'll find out what's happening those dates right after this. We'll be right back.
Geez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. So today we're discussing AIE's Where to Start event.
So I'm going to take you back in time. So the AIE officer community gets together once a month and has a monthly kind of officer meeting, and we just kind of talk about everything that's going on in guild events, everything, just to make sure that everybody is, knows everything that everybody's doing. Because, if Abavan is hosting something in Final Fantasy 14 and it's a really cool idea, maybe I'll go jump in, or Fezgig is doing something on the Alliance side and I don't have a tune over there, maybe I'll go join, and so on. So during that event, I got this crazy idea about doing an event. And I said, and I want to stream all of the games, or get the game streamed. And that was where I hit my roadblock. And Grandmaster Fezgig was like, we should do that. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, let's do it. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And so Fezgig and I have been working on this awesome event, which Nick is about to explain.
Yep.
And for a little while now, and we're super pumped for it. So I'm not taking all the credit because I feel like all the hard work was done by Fezgig. I just came up with an idea, and he just ran full steam ahead at it.
So I can sort of run you through the bullet points here, but it's called AIE's Where to Start event, and you're going to kickstart a walkthrough of all the different games that make up the AIE community. So all the major games, primarily MMOs, right, that AIE plays in.
Yeah, so I think it's SOTOR, Warcraft, Horde and Alliance side, the Division 2, Final Fantasy 14, Elder Scrolls Online, Star Trek Online, Guild Wars 2, Lord of the Rings Online. What was the 10th? There was one more. I know I'm forgetting one. Fez?
ESO.
Did I say
Said
ESO?
that.
Did you say Final Fantasy 14?
Yep.
Well, anywho, a bunch of games. But
yeah, so basically, we're going to be, having all the games are going to be played. All right, Nick, I'm jumping to it. Yep.
So what you're going to be doing is playing through like the beginner walkthroughs of all these different games. So you can it's a jump start into each of the games. That's going to be Saturday, June 27th and Sunday, June 28th, depending on the game. They're scheduled all over that weekend. The event times are all set as Eastern time zones, and they all have different times depending on the game. So the walkthrough duration is about 2 hours per game. And what it cost to you? It only costs hard drive disk space. So all of these games that they're going to be playing are free to play.
So there's only one that isn't, which is Elder Scrolls Online. So we're going to piggyback the event to start on Friday night, and we're going to follow ESO's mandatory fun night. Basically, they're going to do the creator, the opening area to start, but they're going to, essentially piggyback, but you have to buy the game to play it.
Mhm.
It is not a free to play game. So, and then following that, we're going to have our annual big guild town hall where basically the whole guild gets together and we talk about things.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's pretty special.
What time does that start on Friday? Do you know?
I want to say they're starting at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
I think they're moving it ahead 1 hour just to be able, so the town hall starts at 10, but don't quote me on that one.
Okay.
So Fezgig, what are we going to see in this event?
Yeah. So and Marcus, you get the majority of the credit here, man. I before we had that guild officer meeting, just to kind of add some color. I just recently became an officer at AIE, and so I was looking at what some of the officers were doing in Discord, and I downloaded Star Wars. And I thought, I've been playing WoW since 2015, so it's been my game. I've played some other games, did Destiny 2, tried Rift, played other online games, but I just never could get into them like I was into WoW. And so I downloaded Star Wars. I logged in. I created a character, and then I went like, I'm such a noob. I have no idea what to do. And so I thought, how cool would it be to have somebody who isn't a noob kind of teach me the ropes, so I'm not fumbling around trying to figure out the navigation and what do I do next, and how do I not end up going down the road on a character that I'm not going to enjoy. And so, vocalize that. And Marcus was like, this is exactly what I was talking about. And so what you would see, guys, is it's kind of funny. I have in front of me, we were cleaning out our bookshelf in our study, and I have these old Brady Games battle chest guides. I don't know if anybody has any of these that's listening to this podcast, but I started flipping through it, and it's like an introduction to WoW and your first day and learning about the world and beyond the basics. And there is so much in here that I could see how somebody who wants to dip their toe into a game would just be overwhelmed. And so we thought, why not break it down for people? So for those 2 hours, you'll get to see how to create a character, the actual starting zone, and what it means, a quest to go after, what can I do in the game. There are so many different things that you can do in Warcraft in particular, but then other games that people would be like, oh man, I'm so glad that Marcus showed me. If I like playing a ranger class, this is the class I'm going to want to pick. Or make sure you don't give away your gold if people are begging for it in the capital city, because you're going to need it later. But tips for beginners. I think when Marcus and I were talking about this project, Nick,
Yep.
my youngest kiddo was doing walkthroughs in Minecraft, and he was recording them, right, and then posting them in YouTube channel. And it just kind of, why don't we do that for all of us to be able to get excited about a game and not walk in feeling overwhelmed and just kind of give up. So free to play. It sounds like majority of the games here really are just free to play, low risk to download it to start, but then let us walk you through it. Let us give you a guided tour, and you can ask questions. We want it to be interactive. You don't have to be a guild member. I mean, so if you're listening to this podcast or you're going to join the event, you don't have to be a guild member to hop into Discord and listen in to the game. We're calling them game instructors. So the person who's going to be walking you through. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do the WoW side for the Alliance, and then also on the Horde side if Psy's not available. But there is so much that these, we think about all the work that these developers and producers and game designers put into these games. It's for me personally, and I haven't shared this with Marcus, but for me personally, to be able to walk somebody through a game that I love so much and I'm so passionate about, and to maybe spark some interest in them to go, oh man, I could totally see how that would be fun for me to play too. And it overcomes that obstacle of, man, now I got to learn a whole new game. Then that's really the spirit behind this event. So I'll shut up for a second, Marcus, and let you chime in.
So the whole thing for me is I want to play every game, right? I am the poster boy of the guy who wants to play every game but doesn't get to because he's so involved in something else. And or I buy the game and I play it twice and I never touch it again. That's never happened before.
That happens every single time.
Right.
Every
so,
game besides Star Wars or Call of Duty, you play twice and then never touch again.
and well, yeah, in a while. Yep, Mass Effect, but yeah, it's been a while. So
But the last Mass Effect game came out like at least 8 years ago.
No, yeah, it was Mass Effect 3. That was like, yeah. So you're right. I can't even argue it anymore. Like, I'm the world's worst. Actually, I'm the developer's hero. I buy the game because I'm excited for it. Play it twice. I don't play it long enough to find all the bugs and bitch, and then I just buy the next one. So I'm the perfect candidate for a developer's purchasing.
Right.
They're like, we want more of this guy.
Right.
But anyway, so I said, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this could be awesome because what's better than playing a different game? Playing it with friends, right?
Yeah.
So and I play SOTOR, so I'll explain the SOTOR one. We're all going to create Marauders, every one of us. It's going to be all Marauder night. And what's great is if you can come and download the game and come play it with us, fantastic. Great. If you want to just come to the Discord and hang out in voice and just hang out with your friends, you can. And in Discord, somebody in the channel will go live so that even if you don't have hard drive space or you're just like, on the fence about playing it, you can watch your friend play the game for 2 hours and say, wow, that really piques my interest. I'm going to download it now. And it's super casual. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to go through like Fez was saying on just the basics of how to play and the most important things that we've learned since we've played our game since 2015 or whenever we started. Because Nick, it took me 2 years to get Nick to play Star Wars.
Yeah,
and then when he did, he was like, "Okay, what do I do now?"
Yeah, it can be, especially in these MMOs, it can be daunting. There's tons and tons of features to learn, and it's often intuitive, but it's still you're getting thrown a lot of mechanics all at the same time that you might not be used to. And having someone to guide you through, like if I didn't have Marcus guiding me through, I don't know that I would have really started to play Star Wars: The Old Republic. So and then Dent sort of setting up my class for me so I could actually like kill things effectively. And then,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was hugely important too. So it's this, weekend for AIE is really it's really awesome that you guys are going to put this on, because I think this can be super helpful to introduce people to a lot of these new games. Or if, even if they've never played an MMO, or even if they have, they get to switch over to something they would have never tried otherwise.
And, I think Fez said this to me at one point. He's like, with all of this that's happening, like all these gaming conventions canceled, gaming events canceled, E3 canceled, all these things. Why not make our own AIE conference? And that's basically what we're creating, is like a convention for AIE games.
Right.
And, it's going to be, we're going to start. What time is the first slot, Fez?
2 p.m. on Saturday, June 27th. And we're starting out with WoW.
Perfect. So it's starting at 2 p.m. and I think we're going till either 10 or midnight Eastern, and it's going to rinse and repeat on the Sunday. It's so the WoW side, we're starting with WoW because that is the biggest, that's the whole founding game for the guild.
Yep.
And I think on the Horde side, they have 8,000 characters in their guild.
Wow.
That's a lot of people,
Exactly.
or a lot of characters.
That's a lot of characters playing on the wrong side of the game too.
So what I'm hoping is this is going to kickstart some people to join Fez once in a while in WoW. I know I personally am excited to play WoW once that update comes out where I can max level is level 50. Because right now, again, games look daunting to me and so big. And, I came into SOTOR late and I still feel overwhelmed to this day with all of the stuff that needs to happen.
So, Marcus, I was talking to somebody, a guildie, who you'll get this in guild chat, and it probably happens in all games, but somebody will say, "Man, I'm just tired. I'm gonna quit. I'm tired. It's just not fun anymore. I don't see any purpose in this game anymore." For all of you who are listening to this podcast that fit into that bucket, that you said that one time or another, man, this is the event for you to maybe find another game that gets you excited about playing something new, learning something new, being challenged, being a noob again. Marcus, we have in WoW, we have add-ons that I'm not sure if they have them in other games, but you have these add-ons that change the UI to do certain things that the game designer didn't put in the game. I can't tell you how excited I am to turn all of those off and kind of relive that first day that I kind of logged into the game and see the world through, these folks that have never played the game before's eyes, and then kind of walk them through seeing the world for the first time. I'm pretty jazzed up about that experience. At least that's what it felt like for me. But yeah, stripping everything out and getting right back down to the I guess all natural, no no add-ons. I'm excited to log in with that.
Did you decide what race you're going to have everybody be?
I think because we're going to be doing one session on Alliance side and then one on the Horde side, I thought I would. I'm not I'm not a big human character fan, but I will be using one of the base races, so maybe a dwarf. So that when the game first came out, I won't be jumping into any of the other unlocked races later in later expansions. I will stay with kind of the basic, probably orc and maybe night elf might be the way that I roll it.
All right. So I know we've said a lot tonight for everybody, but the biggest thing is we want to show you what we play. And then questions, ask them, come join. And I know myself, I'm looking forward to playing some of these games that I've wanted to play, but I have logged in, I have them downloaded on my system, except I get in there and I just feel lost.
Right.
And, Elder Scrolls Online, it plays a lot like Skyrim. Nick, I really think you would like it. But the thing is there's things about the game that I don't like. Like, it doesn't have a mini map. And that's the thing you have to learn how to do, is mod it and put these add-ons in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not used to that because SOTOR does not have that. And there's all these little quirks of the game that I don't like. But if I didn't know that you could fix it, I would never play it again. But because I know that you can actually fix some of the things that you want the game to feel comfortable.
Right.
And that's why I kind of like the whole mod idea, is it allows you, or add-ons, it allows you to make the game feel more comfortable for the way you play.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we're all dedicated to that MMO, myself, SOTOR, right? That's my game. When I go into a different MMO, I immediately notice the differences from SOTOR. And I'm like, oh,
It's
what am I
different,
going to
I don't
do?
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different and I don't like it. That's such a great way to put it, Nick.
Yeah. That happens to me in RPGs too. Same thing. It's I have to learn these new mechanics, or the button is different. I wish it was this button,
Right. And that's the nice part, is most of the time you can change it, but some things you can't change. You can't unchange something. And if you can change it via these add-ons, then that's a beautiful thing.
Right. Hey, I have a question before we move on to the next topic. So if I'm somebody listening to this and I want to play a certain game with everybody, but where can I find the schedule for all of these?
So Fez and I are finalizing it all, but it will be in the main events Discord. I spoke with Max,
Okay.
and we're going to put it in the main AIE Discord in the events channel, and there will be a link to, I don't know if it'll be the event schedule, Google Doc. I'm sure Max is going to do like a blog post on the website,
Okay.
and so you'll be able to see it and follow the game that you really want to get in. I would say that it should be posted up by midweek this week.
Sounds good. So AIE-guild.org is the main guild website, correct?
Yep, and
For
then
everybody.
our Discord. Yep, and then Discord it might even have its own special tab in the Discord for this event, and then it'll disappear after.
Mhm.
It'll be a temp, but it'll give you the event schedule so you know that if you want to play with Fezgig on the Alliance side, it'll be on Saturday, June 27th from 2 to 4.
Right. Sounds great.
One last thing, Marcus, and I know this is kind of and Nick, this is just an afterthought, but we do have some AIE members who have Twitch channels where they are streaming, playing, their game online, and so this would also be an opportunity to maybe learn about let's say you didn't make it to our 2 to 4 for WoW on Saturday, but you're still interested in learning and watching somebody play. There are AIE members, some officers, some not, that do have Twitch channels. We'll help to kind of promote those channels as we learn about them and catalog those so people can kind of watch the gameplay of guild members after the event.
Absolutely. I will be personally streaming the SOTOR one and whatever one I get to jump into. The one I am really looking forward to, believe it or not, is the Division 2. I've always wanted to play it, and I think if I play it with some friends, because I own it, I think it was like $3 when on Ubisoft.com a while ago, and I bought it. So it's just it's going to be really fun. I know we can't wait for this event.
I know. I'm excited. You ought to jump into the channel and come heckle me since I'm kicking it off on that Saturday.
I'm gonna be there. I probably won't be able to play just because I'll be playing with A New Hope with the kids.
Right.
But I'm gonna definitely jump into the Discord and watch it and interact with everybody because this is such a fun thing. And I don't know if this has ever been done in AIE. I don't know.
I don't think so.
So
I've been here since 2009. I don't remember anything like this.
Yeah, so it's going to be exciting to see all of these game instructors come together for a weekend and host and pull this off. Yeah, I'm excited.
Should be good times.
Okay, last things. Check out the AIE podcast this Sunday. Fez and I are on that to discuss exactly what we talked about tonight. But please head over there. They may have some new questions that we didn't answer. And get ready. And look out next week for a bonus episode. Nick and I are going to do something that we haven't done in a while.
Yep.
Which is kind of deep dive into passions that we have and why we do them.
Yes. Besides,
Nick's been talking about doing this for a while, and we just haven't. So next week. And the last thing I'm going to say for today is thanks, Nick. This is episode 75.
74.
No, it's 75.
Oh, 75.
I'm pretty sure it's 75.
Ding. Congrats, guys.
Well, thank you.
74, 75. Like, it actually made me stop and think about it. And I'm like, we've done this 74 or 75 times.
That's so many episodes. Oh, it's just 75. You're right.
Yeah, so I just renamed it wrong.
Yeah.
The Google Doc. But yeah, 75 episodes we've been doing this. It's crazy for me to think like that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's been an honor, and you guys have been a lot of fun to banter with. I'm definitely now a fan of this podcast, so I'll be listening to your future and your historical podcasts. It's been fun.
We thank you, and we tell everybody, if you want to hear how far we've come, listen to the first episode. I think it's called like beta test. We should probably take it down, but we don't now because if you listen to that and then listen to today, it's wow. But we did it.
We did it.
Um,
Hey, thanks for coming on, Fez. Welcome back anytime.
Glad to do it.
and if you ever have an update for the WoW community, don't hesitate to send it to us because we want everybody to hear about it.
Well, you know what? You're gonna maybe I'll take you up on that when we get you back into the game when the expansion comes out.
Yeah, I'm curious to. I'm waiting for the release date of it. They haven't announced it yet, have they?
No, I think it's end of the year, but I don't think the actual date's been set. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I just missed it.
Because I did the battle. I bought Battle of Azeroth because they like hyped it so much. Like everywhere you turned, it was a World of Warcraft commercial, and I was like, I have to buy this, right? And then I was like, they're like, do you want to boost a character or do you want to start at 1? And I was like, I'll start at 1. It won't take that long. And I think I got to level, and I got to like level 10, and I was like, I have 110 levels to go. It's never gonna happen. Like. And that's when they announced that they were going to drop the level cap to 50. I was like, okay, now I can play this game. Like I can make it to level 50. 120, that's pretty that's a commitment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna commit to Star Wars. I've downloaded it. I'm gonna watch the instructor on that one, and then I'm gonna jump in and see and play that for a little bit too. So I'm doing something I haven't done in the past, which is dip my toe in another game with commitment to kind of take a shot at it. So that wasn't WoW related.
Yeah, and once you do, and if you can find something, even if you play it 1 day a week, I find that you can have so much fun with it.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.